What's up, YouTube? RULivingYou? Making a video on my way to Radium, Colorado, Radium Hot Springs, and Mugrage Campground, which is supposed to be free. I'm a little worried about it being closed this time of year. It's March 23rd, 24th. I just want to show everyone this amazing view on this road about 15 miles away from Radium. Just came off Highway 9 out of Silverthorne. I mean, come on, people. Absolutely gorgeous. Even if the campground's closed, there's some roads over there, forest access roads. A couple of them are open. I can probably just park up there for the night. There was even, just said no parking near a bridge, and I've seen other people along this road, so I could probably even park along this road. But planning on going to Radium. I'm going to pick up after I get there. And living the dream, people. Loving it. A little bit more of what I love about this life and the beautiful state of Colorado. I mean, absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. We have arrived at our destination. Radium State Wildlife Area, Mugrage Campground. Pretty dope little spot. Definitely in bear country. So, funny story. Last time I went backpacking, I didn't get up to the Hesse Trailhead, which is outside Nederland, until like 8:30, 9 o'clock, because I had to hike from the Boulder High School, which is the last drop-off point of the bus. This is like early May 2016, and so I'm not like making camp until I get, a couple miles up the trail into the actual national forest, I think, or wilderness, where you can camp anywhere, theoretically, preferably in previous spots. But I probably camped a little bit early because it wasn't in a designated spot, but I was a few miles up the trail. I had a really big stick because I just had a feeling that I've been backpacking before, and I had a just feeling the whole week before I went that I was going to encounter a large animal, and it's like 10 o'clock at night, and I was cold. I made camp at like 11 after a couple miles of hiking, with like 60 pounds on my back, all my equipment, and just kind of lazily slung my food just up a couple branches, like right above where I could reach, and figured it was good enough. Didn't feel that great about it, but was really tired and just wanted to set up my tent and go to sleep. So when dawn's breaking, this is maybe like, June. Dawn's breaking like 4:45 a.m. I hear crunch, 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 like beer cans popping. And I mean, I did this like 10, 15 feet behind my tent in a pine tree, and a bear is just sitting there. I can't see it because my door is on the other side. So this is, I believe, the trail up to the hot springs. I'm going to get some shots of my van later in a minute. And so the rest of the story goes, ate all my food, unfortunately, except for one can of Annie's organic, like, ravioli, cheese ravioli, and I had a beer that was left in my tent. I'm like slamming the stick against a tree that's next to me and a rock, because I don't want the bear to turn around and bump into the tent and get startled and get scared and start thrashing or whatever. So I want it to realize that I'm there. It kind of finally stops eating the food, comes around the corner, kind of like turns its head like it's going to circle my tent. It's like maybe like 10 feet away from my tent. And I'm like, I see you, bear. I'm not afraid of you. It's time to go. get out of here, bear, get out of here. Turns its nose towards me, runs up a hill. I fall back asleep within 5 minutes. Got another hour or two of sleep. I could only go up the trail to like basically where the pass was to go over to the backside in Indian Peaks on Hesse Trail, and ate my ravioli, drank my beer, and left the mountain because I had no more food. So that's the story. Check you out in a minute. Some cows grazing on top of this ridge. Just checking out an amazing sunset. I mean, absolutely gorgeous skyline up here. I'm assuming the trail is that way to the hot springs. I didn't get the final directions before I lost internet service, but I'm not too worried about it. I'm gonna be up here for 3 or 4 days. I'm sure I'll figure it out. I mean, just absolutely gorgeous, people. I mean, really loving it up here. Totally thrilled to be alive. Totally thrilled with my decision to come out here. Got a whole list of hot springs I'm going to be checking out. Just did a whole bunch of work helping this guy with demo for like a week straight. Got serpentine belt fixed on my van. Got a whole bunch of bamboo wood for the van. So that's pretty cool. But really loving Radium and Mugrage campsite skyline up here. And actually taking the opportunity to get grounding in too, which is absolutely changing my life, and I highly recommend it. So guys, pretty nice digs. The camping is free. You stay here for a few days. The ice is free. Got just enough light to finish collecting some firewood. Little grill there. It's nice. Big piece of wood. It probably should be broken in half. It's going to be burned to be safe. But just going to be collecting some wood, guys. And a little more. And a little more. And a little more. I think you get the idea. We have fire, everybody. That's a 2-match fire, by the way. It was a little hard to find wood. Don't have that much. But what a way to end the day, guys. I mean, nothing beats a campfire. I mean, can you disagree with that? Got some beautiful colors coming up in the valley here. Amazingly beautiful campground. So glad I decided to bring my girl up here. That's the only woman in my life at the moment. But tomorrow I'll venture onto the hot springs, and just really looking forward to this evening, seeing some incredible stars, and before that, obviously, getting some dinner going, having a couple more beers. So I had coffee and some oatmeal, and wasn't cold at all last night, as always, with a really good sleeping bag. If I need, I can put 2 together and be really warm if it's really cold. But it's just funny. I was thinking of, what I wanted to talk about as I go up this hill. This guy showed up this morning, and he was like me. Oh, well, I don't know where the trail is to go to the hot springs. And so I ended up, no one told me. I just saw essentially people with towels on coming down or towels over their shoulders or whatever around their waists, coming down this path that I already got some really, nice sunset shots yesterday. But it's just funny because I was worried about how to get to the hot springs. And then I never asked anyone. And I'm telling this guy where to go to get to the hot springs. And, that's kind of like how my whole life has been since maybe I was about 18 years old. Manifesting has been something that has been very tangible for me, but like for everybody, hard to do. Like when in the moment, when you need something or want something, generally it's a want, not a need. It's hard to do in the moment, and it can be really frustrating, but when life is going in a certain way, like kind of how it is for me right now, then it's easier to have things just start clicking into place. Like, I now have 20-30% of the materials for the build of my van. I'm going to start in about a week. And essentially, so that's where it started when I was 18 for concerts. Not being able to find tickets, asking friends, and then one day deciding that no, I can find tickets. And then I started finding my own tickets when I needed to find tickets. And it's, you look back and you're like, wow, it's like almost like immediately when my thought process changed, then my reality changed, and it started working for me. And then it became very tangible with poker tournaments online. I'd go through bad runs after I learned how to play, which took a couple years, and not be able to finish like top 3, top 5, or win a tournament for months. And then it's like one day I'd be like, okay, today I'm going to win a tournament. And it would happen. It happened a dozen times probably. Finished second 20 times, finished third, fourth, fifth, another 100, 200, 300 times. And winning poker tournaments is a really good feeling, even online. In my life, I just find when I focus on something and when I make a very definitive statement in my mind that things tend to shift positively in the direction that I'm interested in going. And so all of a sudden my online business is kind of tanking a little bit because basically the majority of what I sell is advertising, clicks for other home-based business owners. And I got to wrap this up because I got to do a little more filming for when I get to the hot springs. But basically, my regular buyers aren't buying. Or most of them stop buying, not all of them. And I get new buyers every month, and my business still grows every month. But it's basically the bad side of the numbers and sales. It should bounce back. I should get more big buyers again. About 3% of the buyers, 3 out of 100, are big buyers. So, but I won't stop, and the business continues to grow. And I have several other projects. I also do some Bitcoin mining stuff. This is really muddy right here, guys. Bitcoin mining stuff and a couple other projects that I'm doing to create income passively online. And, I'll bounce back from a bad February, a medium almost bad March, probably. But it might not happen until September, October. Either way, I'm still building this van and continuing to go places. But we'll pick up filming when we get to the hot springs. So, of course, my dummy self forgets to download the instructions before I lost connectivity, Wi-Fi, internet. I figured that little pillar was going to be the guide. Really nice views, but just goes down to the road that goes by the campground I'm on, and then the river. There's this trail here, and then it's split off in two places a little ways back. So I just don't know, but we'll see if we can find it, or people that might pull up in the parking lot might know the way. I might have to come back after I get the directions. So a couple interesting developments. Right as I am finishing my lunch, it looks as though when it was sunny and warming up an hour ago, possibly a storm is moving in. So also talk about manifesting. Right as I came down the trail a little while to make lunch a little while ago and do some grounding, these people pulled up right as I was coming down the trail, and a guy kind of looked at me, and I looked at him, and I was like, hey, do you know where the hot springs is? And he's like, yeah, you gotta go to the right, down by the river, then over. And I was like, well, I went that way, and then I came up to kind of a big, cut in the river, and then a large rock. And he's like, yeah, you need to climb down 50 feet. So talk about manifesting. Right as I came down, I got good directions, but that's going to have to wait until maybe tomorrow. So we'll see how the rest of the afternoon goes after lunch. Okay, guys, this is attempt number 2. I've come up a different way. It's actually a pretty steep, icy, kind of muddy terrain, but I think that I'm getting close. So let me get to the top here, and hopefully I'll see something promising. This has been a nice little adventure. So I'm really looking forward to checking out a lot of hot springs in Colorado. I've been to Strawberry in Steamboat, and I've been to Valley View, which is kind of a crazy, really natural one, and Joyful Journey, which is right down the highway, basically in a desert. So really awesome, stunning views, but still I see footprints, but no hot springs yet. So hey guys, you can actually see the hot springs. It's kind of a little, obviously a little bit of a sketch walk down there, but you can see the hot springs right there. So yeah guys, coming up that little, I don't know, rocky cliff area coming down was well worth it. In a nice little warm pool here, just loving life as much as I possibly could be. Absolutely thrilled with finally finding this hot springs. So can't really say much more about that, but going to be checking out a lot more hot springs in the future. So thanks for watching.